Good evening. This is Julie Dawson, and I am doing my presentation on the dress code. Dress code, the general belief is that it is viewed as a form of self-expression. It reflects a student's culture, background, and personality, and it can also relate back to the First Amendment in the U.S. Constitution. The courts have left this up to the state courts to make decisions and rulings based on suits that are brought to their courtroom dealing with student dress and the regulations that schools can put on them. The U.S. Supreme Court declines that dress is a significant form of freedom of expression. It does not rank up there with like the school newspapers and protest and demonstrations. Dress can be regulated as long as there is a defensible reason. They cannot just base their decision on dress code based on fashion and trends and taste and personal choice. The defensible reasons are material or a substantial disruption in the educational process, violation of health and safety standards, and unusual attention is drawn to a student's body. Educational disruption, you can see here from my examples there any shirt or item of clothing or headband, button, whatnot that has vulgar, lewd, or defamatory language, content that is in conflict with the school's stated mission, or obscene gestures. These shirts would all not be allowed in a school and would have a defensible reason for not allowing them there because they would disrupt the educational process. Health and safety, unclean hair. Students can be required to wash their hair if there is certain fungus or certain insects living within the student's hair. It is seen as a safety and health concern for not only the student but for the other students in the building as well. Also, long hair in labs or shop classes, if it's a danger to the student for their hair to get caught in some type of machinery out in the vocational classes, or if their hair may become in contact with flames or something in a science lab classroom, it can be required of them to pull it back and keep it out of harm's way. Also with long jewelry in labs or shop classes as well, if there's a chance that it could get caught in something and cause a safety concern or damage to the student's body or being, then they can be required to remove it. The next one is unusual attention. Anything that is low cut, short in length, undergarments showing, inappropriate body parts showing, would be a defensible reason to not allow this type of dress in the classroom or the school itself. Some court cases that have arisen from the dress code are very inconsistent in their findings. Two of them that our book talked about was Morse vs. Frederick. It supported the school. The student wore a shirt that promoted illegal substances, and the court supported the school that this type of clothing would not be allowed in the school setting. Another court case that was mentioned in our book was the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. It supported the student, however, and this student wore a shirt that had a picture of a president with a body of a chicken, I believe, holding a martini and having a drug paraphernalia in his other hand, and the courts supported the student because it said it was his freedom of expression, his freedom to express his political views, which I find very interesting because it did have the drugs and alcohol content on there. So I would have thought the courts may have allowed the schools to be supported in this case because of those extra designs within the shirt. I currently work at Burlington Middle School, and our dress code is very short and simple. So, but it follows some of the guidelines that our book also outlined for us. Guidelines include the dress code should be developed by the faculty, students, parents, and citizens of the community. It should be approved by the school board, and the reasons used in the development cannot be based on trends, styles, or taste. Burlington Middle School dress code reads, students must wear shoes, sandals, or boots. Students must wear clothing that properly covers their body. All shirts must have sleeves. Any student dressed in a manner that disrupts the academic environment will be sent to the office. Articles which are not permissible are hats, headbands or other head coverings, sunglasses, clothing with vulgar or obscene or suggestive words or gestures, clothing which advertises or endorses items of activities illegal for minors, beer, alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, pajama pants and or tops, clothing that distracts to other students or staff, tights, low-cut tops, short skirts, shorts, and no cut-off jeans. I think dress code can be a very touchy subject, but I think it's something that also needs to be addressed in schools, because really we are at school to learn, and in order to learn we need to be comfortable, but yet we need to make sure that everyone around us is also comfortable. It might be my right to wear something, but I don't have the right to violate someone else's rights. So I think when developing a dress code for schools, I think you have to know your community and your students, and you need to be wise in the decisions that you make. I think they're there for a reason. I think it's a good reason to have dress codes. But you also need to have student and faculty to support behind it, and when a student does violate it, you need to have some type of procedure that will be as least intrusive to him or her who's violating the dress code, and not make it a huge issue to where you could see major repercussions come from the parents and the citizens of the community.